Right, year 8, let's have a look at what we've got so far. So hopefully you've got a drum track like I do here, and it will develop texturally, hopefully, so you can see that it gets a little bit more complex as the beat progresses. You may have added a few extra tambourine or percussion loops to kind of make this part a little bit more interesting. And hopefully you've recorded in your chords by this point, and hopefully they're not too repetitive. You don't just have the same thing running throughout the whole piece. You've changed it rhythmically and you've made it as interesting as possible. So since you last heard my piece, I've changed it from a piano to a synth sound. So I've got big pulse waves, and if you listen to it right now, it sounds a little bit kind of bare. It sounds a bit empty. So what I'm going to do to fill in the sound a little bit is add a bass line, and the bass line will give it a bit more what we call low end. We'll give it a bit of a lower frequency, which will fill in the sound a bit. So once again, go to New Tracks, click on the plus, I go to Software Instrument, Create, and I go over to my library. Now I'm not going to go to the bass sound up here. I'm going to go to Synthesizer, and I'm going to click bass here, which is the subcategory. And for my example, I'm going to use this classic funk bass here. That's the first one. Let's have a little listen to it. So I think this fits my choice of synthesizer and my choice of drum kits and the style I'm going for. So I'm going to use this one here. Now when you're recording, when you're creating a bass line, the easiest thing you can do is just follow your chord pattern. So you're playing the root note of each chord. So for example, that would mean if I'm playing a C chord, I would simply play a C. If I'm playing an F chord, I play an F, an A minor, an A, etc, etc. So if I did that, let's have a listen. And it's okay, but it's a little bit boring. So a couple of things I can do to make my bass line a bit more interesting. I could play a different rhythm. I might play octaves, so I'm playing the C below and the C above. I might add what we call fifths, which is if I'm playing a C, I might add a G. So I'm playing the fifth note above that. But if I really want to make it a little bit more interesting, I could add passing notes, and that means that those are basically the notes that you pass before you get to your next chord. So if I'm going from a C to an F, well, on the keyboard I've got a D and an E in between, so I could go, and if I'm going up from an F to an A, I have to pass a G on the way, so why don't I add it? So I'm now going to record in my bass line, but I'm going to try and make it interesting rhythmically. I'm going to add a few passing notes and a few fifths to really sort of make it the best it can be. So here we go. So there we go.